5-minute Fridays. I am just about to start my 5-minute workout for today. All you're going to need for this workout is something soft beneath you. So grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice, but if you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises briefly demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So we're going to be down on the mat for all 5 exercises, and we are starting with cat-cow. So you're going to start by spreading out all 10 fingers and placing your hands on the mat directly underneath your shoulders. And you want to have your hips directly under, or your knees directly underneath your hips. So you're in this tabletop position. And then from here, you are going to tilt your pelvis back. So think about trying to touch the ceiling with your booty. And as you do that, you are going to elongate your spine and arch your back. Your back is going to arch, but what you're not thinking about trying to do is kind of like bring your head back to touch your booty. You want to think about, you don't want your upper back to kind of crunch. You want to think about elongating your spine. All right, so really lift that booty up as high as you can, and on an inhale, you're lifting your chin and you're elongating your spine, opening up your chest. Then you're going to reverse the movement. So on an exhale, you're going to tilt your pelvis under. So taking that booty and kind of tucking it underneath you, sucking your belly button back towards your spine. And as you do that, you are rounding your back, pressing your palms into the mat, pressing the tops of your feet into the mat. So you're arching the back and then rounding the back. So tabletop position, hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Exhale and really round that back as much as you can, bringing your belly button back towards your spine. And that's it. You're just gonna go back and forth between those 2 poses. That's cat-cow. All right, so inhale on your cow pose. As you arch the back, open up the chest and elongate that spine, and then exhale on your cat pose. As you round your back, press your hands into the mat, press your tops of your feet into the mat. Inhale and exhale. All right, that's it. That is our first exercise. It feels really great for your back and your spine actually, but it's actually it can fatigue you if you're doing it correctly. So really make sure that you are focusing on your breath and really make sure you are exploring your full range of motion, stretching your spine as much as possible, okay? Should be very mindful. Next, we're going into our downward facing dog. So from your cow pose, you are going to keep those hips lifted high. Keep thinking about trying to touch the ceiling with your booty, all right? So your pelvis is not here, it is here. From here, you're going to curl your toes under, and then you are going to lift your hips straight up and push them back. Now, my knees are bent, my heels are off the mat. If you're here, that's absolutely fine. Eventually, what you're working towards is being able to straighten your legs and even lower your heels down to the mat. But that is not the point of this pose. That's not your priority. Your priority is a flat back. So if you only are able to straighten your legs or get your heels down onto the mat by rounding your back, then don't worry about getting your heels down. Lift your heels up and don't worry about straightening your legs. Have a slight bend to your knee. The important thing is that you want to be thinking about pressing the mat away from you, and you want a straight line all the way from your hands to your tailbone. Okay, so you want to avoid having a rounded back. You're doing your best to lift those hips as high as you can. Again, think about a string here pulling you up and back, and you're elongating your spine. All right, if you want to work towards straightening your legs and getting your heels down on the mat, that's great. You can work towards that. Just make sure that you're prioritizing that flat back. If you need to have your knees bent, if you need to have your heels lifted off the mat, don't worry about that, okay? But that is our second exercise. We're just going to hold our downward facing dog, and then we're going to start inching our hands in and out. We're going to do inchworms. So from your downward facing dog, you're just going to inch your hands in, just walk your hands in towards your feet. So it's going to look like this. From your downward facing dog, you're just going to walk your hands in towards your feet. Hold here for just a second. Feel that stretch in your hamstrings as you come to kind of a forward fold. And then you're going to inch your hands back out, just walking your hands out until you're in a plank position. Walk the hands in, stretch, and walk the hands out into a plank pose. All right, so that is our third exercise. Minding your form in your plank pose. So let's go over that because that's going to be the last exercise. I'm going to go kind of a little bit out of order, but not really, because you need to make sure that as you're doing these inchworms and you're ending up in your plank pose, that you're doing your plank pose correctly. So again, you want to spread out all 10 fingers, and you want to make sure that your hands are placed directly underneath your shoulders. And you want to make sure that your head is perfectly in line with your spine. So don't allow your head to drop down like this. You do not need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. Think about standing with your back up against the wall and then just gently pressing the back of your head into the wall. That's where you want your head to be. So make sure that your head stays perfectly in line with your spine. You also want to make sure that your shoulders are away from your ears. A lot of people will have a tendency to kind of sink down into their shoulders like this. So again, you want to spread out all 10 fingers and press the mat away from you. Really press down into the mat so that you're pushing yourself up as high as you can, and now your shoulders are away from your ears. And then you want to avoid an arch in your back as well. So don't let your hips or your belly droop down towards the mat. Make sure you're tightening up your ab muscles and using your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. What you're going for is one perfectly straight line from your heels all the way to your shoulders. And really, since your head is perfectly in line with your spine, that straight line should extend to the crown of your head. So think of your body like it literally is a plank of wood. That is the integrity that you want in your plank pose. All right, so moving on to our next exercise, you're going to start in a plank pose. We're doing push-ups. So once you have found that beautifully perfect plank pose, nothing moves. All you're going to do is bend your elbows. So this is your body. You're in a perfect plank of wood, right? All you're going to do is bend your elbows and lower your body down to the mat, and then push yourself back up. But from here to here, from your heels to the crown of your head, does not move, okay? You want to maintain that perfectly straight line from your heels to your shoulders the entire time. If you're doing knee push-ups, obviously you'll put your knees down on the mat, and that straight line will be from your knees to your shoulders, but it's the same exact exercise. Your goal is to touch the mat with your chest, but that's not the objective. The objective is to maintain that straight line. So if you are not able to meet that goal of touching your chest to the mat today, that's fine, that's what you're working towards. But it is also okay to shorten up your range of motion. So if you are unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, then just lower your chest as close to the mat as you can. But don't compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat, because that is causing an arch in my back. And remember, we want to maintain that straight line from your heels to your shoulders the entire time. Another really common mistake that people will make, and I think that they're doing it on a subconscious level, so be aware of this. Remember, you want your head to stay in line with your spine the whole time. Don't allow your head to bob up and down. It's very tempting, if you are unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat, to compensate for that by lowering your forehead down to the mat. So make sure that your head stays in line with your spine. If you are unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat, that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion. Get your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line. And once you've reached that point, just reverse the movement, press the mat away, and push yourself back up into your plank position, and that's it. That's your push-up. And then the final exercise is just plank. We're just holding our plank. So again, you want to just make sure your head is in line with your spine, your shoulders are away from your ears, so you're pressing the mat away from you, and your abs should be super strong and tight and engaged. You're using your ab muscles to lift your hips up nice and high and keep them lifted high, and you're just going to hold right here. All right, and that's it. That is all 5 exercises. So I think you can kind of see the flow of it, right? You see how all of those exercises are going to kind of flow together. So we are on 1 minute intervals, 5 1 minute intervals, that's our 5 minutes. So we're going to just do each of those exercises for 1 minute, and we're going to just flow from one into the next. So the goal is to not rest at all for the entire 5 minutes, but this is actually going to be a really tough one. So remember that if you do need to rest, you should rest. You can always come into child's pose for a few seconds and rest. Challenge yourself to keep those rest breaks as short as you can, because the whole workout is only 5 minutes long, but they should be as long as you need. All of these poses should be mindful. All of these exercises should be mindful and deliberate and under control. Your poses should have integrity. So if you find that you're getting fatigued and you're sinking into your shoulders, or you're allowing your back to arch in your plank pose, for example, or your arms are shaking and you just can't hold your downward facing dog anymore without sacrificing your form, then absolutely take a few seconds to rest in child's pose. But challenge yourself to keep the rest breaks as short as you can. They should be as long as you need. You should only continue once you feel that you have enough strength and enough stamina so that you can continue with good form. But it's only a 5 minute workout, so I do want you to challenge yourself. Just please be smart, be safe, listen to your body, use your common sense, and make the decision that is best for you. You should always be working to your own level. Please do not push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do. But that's it, that's the workout. So we are starting with 1 minute of cat-cow, then we're going directly into our downward facing dog, and we're going to hold our downward facing dog for 1 full minute. Then we're going to do our inchworms for 1 minute, and then we are going to do 1 minute of push-ups. I know that's a long time to do push-ups, so do your best. If you need to rest during that interval, do your best to rest in your plank pose, or maybe in a downward facing dog, if you can. Again, if you need to come to child's pose, you can do that, but I just want you to challenge yourself. I know 1 minute is a long time to do push-ups, but it's only 1 minute, so challenge yourself if you do need to rest in plank or downward facing dog if you can. And then for our 5th and final interval, we're just going to hold that plank pose. So again, you're going to do your best. If you cannot hold plank for an entire minute, you'll take a few seconds and rest in child's pose or downward facing dog when you need to, and then come back and hold your plank, okay? But that's it. That's the workout. It's a super simple format. Hopefully that is all clear. If it's not, remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and of course I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you. I'll talk you through it as we're going. So watch me do it, listen to my instructions so that you remember where you are and you remember to be mindful of your form, and read the instructions. But of course, then as always, if there are any questions about the format and how everything fits together, if you have questions about the exercises, any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need help with beginner modifications, I'm right here to help. So please just ask. It's really important that you understand what you are asking your body to do. You understand how to do all of these exercises and poses correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of this short little workout. It's only 5 minutes long, so in order to make it effective, we really need to make sure that we understand the movement and we are performing everything correctly. So make sure you understand what you're doing before you begin. And you guys know it is equally important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. So I'm always here to help facilitate that. Just don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. Hopefully I've covered everything. If you're ready to go ahead and start this little 5-minute workout, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one, if not maybe a towel, and then you can pause the video, go get dressed, meet me right back here. We're going to start with a quick 5-minute warm up so that we're not jumping into the workout with cold muscles, and then we'll get our 5-minute workout done together. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. You're not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. Your arm is completely relaxed. You're just letting gravity do all the work of gently stretching the other side of your neck by just using the weight of your arm. We're going to switch sides, so allow your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Your arms should be completely relaxed and your shoulders should be relaxed as well. Don't let your shoulders creep up by your ears, shoulders down and back. Next, we're going to do some head rolls. So you're going to start by allowing your chin to fall towards your chest and then towards the other shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head from one shoulder to the other, just start to feel your head getting heavier and heavier. Your range of motion is going to increase as you allow your entire torso to just kind of fall in front of you. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. Next, we're going to do shoulder rolls. So just rolling the shoulders back. Exaggerate that movement though. Really explore your full range of motion. Make those shoulder rolls as big as you can. Next, we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our arm circles. So you're going to extend your arms out to the side and start by making small circles, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until again, you're finally exploring your full range of motion, making those circles as big as you possibly can. Now you're going to step your feet out so they're a bit wider than shoulder width apart. Bend your knees and sweep your arms in front of you as you straighten the legs. You're reaching up, stretching as high as you can towards the ceiling. And each time you bend your knees, you're exploring your range of motion a little bit more, allowing it to expand, sinking a little bit deeper into that squat each time. Now keep your feet planted right where they are. We're going to lunge side to side. Nice and easy. Throw in the arms. So you're just reaching across your body with each lunge. It should feel like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Next, we're just going to march in place. So step the feet in and march. Starting with the knees low, but gradually as the interval progresses, you can start driving your knees up a little bit higher. Keep going until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes. Next, we're just going to jog in place. So again, starting with the knees low, but gradually you can start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Next is booty kicks. So it's still just a nice light jog, but with each step, I'm bringing my foot behind me. Really try to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. For this next one, you may need to hold on to something for support, like a wall or a chair if you struggle with balance. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. Transfer your weight into one foot, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg front and back. Nice and loose. We're going to switch legs. So next you'll put this foot down, transfer your weight again, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg front and back. You can start low, and then as the interval progresses, you can start swinging the leg higher and higher. Now put this foot down, you're gonna transfer your weight again, pick up the other foot, extend the leg out in front of you, and bring it around and behind you, just making a little semicircle. And with each semicircle, I'm lifting my leg a little higher. And for the final two, I'm going to drive my knee up towards my chest and then use my hand to guide it around for a hip circle. Other side. So extending the other leg out in front of you. And just making a semicircle, bringing that leg around and behind you, lifting the leg higher and higher each time. And for the final two, driving the knee up in front of you, use your hand to guide it around for a hip circle. Hamstring stretch. Interval. Our 5 minutes is now up. So if you feel like you're ready to begin the workout, you can begin. But I had to wait for the plane. I didn't want to shout over it. So I just want to kind of explain what we're going for a little bit with this stretch. So I always use this post to demonstrate how to get into the stretch. It can be really helpful if you have something like that. You could also use the wall or a chair or the arm of your couch. But the point is to try to keep your back as flat as you can. If you allow your back to round in this stretch, it's fine, you're not going to hurt yourself. But if you tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets and elongate your spine, lift your chest, and try to keep your back as flat as you can, it's going to really isolate your hamstrings a lot more effectively, and it's going to make the stretch more effective. So by using the wall or a chair or something, it can just make that a little bit easier to achieve that flat back, might make it a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more accessible getting into this stretch. You do not have to keep stretching your hamstrings with me if you don't want to, but my hamstrings are, usually the backs of my legs are really tight, and they're especially tight today. And because we're going to be in our downward facing dog pose, I want to make sure that my hamstrings are really nice and loose and ready to go, so that I can hold that downward facing dog pose with integrity and really stretch the backs of my legs. But that's it, that's our little 5+ minute warm up. You do want to make sure that your hamstrings are nice and loose for this workout today. So I'm going to spend just another minute trying to loosen up my hamstrings off camera. So if you feel like you're ready to go, great. If you feel like maybe you need a little bit more attention back here like I do, you can pause the video and stay in that hamstring stretch for just a couple more minutes until you feel like your hamstrings have loosened up and you're ready to begin. All right, so my timer is set for 5 1-minute intervals. That's our 5 minutes. We are starting with cat-cow, so coming down onto the mat, tabletop pose. So hands are directly underneath your shoulders, your knees should be directly underneath your hips. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. We're starting with our cow pose. So tilting your pelvis back, opening up the chest and allowing your back to arch. And now on an exhale, tilting your pelvis underneath, suck that belly button back towards your spine. Now inhale and exhale. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. So arching the back, opening up that chest, and rounding the back. Inhale for your cow pose. Exhale as you arch your back, or round your back for your cat pose. And really focus on elongating that spine. Now from this cow pose, you're going to curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Press the mat away from you. And we're coming up into our downward facing dog. We're going to hold here for 1 minute. Now remember, if you are unable to straighten your legs or get your heels down without rounding your back, Don't worry about straightening your legs. Don't worry about putting your heels on the mat. Your heels can be lifted off the mat. Your knees can be bent, that's fine. The important part is that your back is flat. So really think about lifting those hips up and back, pressing the mat away from you. And focus on your breathing. Now we're going to walk the hands in towards the feet. Hold here for a second, feeling that stretch in your hamstrings, and then walk the hands out so that you're in a plank pose. I'm just going to inchworm for this next minute. Walk the hands in towards the feet. Feel that stretch in the hamstrings. Walk the hands out. Hold your plank pose for just a second. Take just a second in that forward fold, letting those hamstrings loosen up a little bit. And then walk it out to your plank position. Okay, last time, walking the hands out into plank. And now we're going to do push-ups. So if you're doing knee push-ups, you're gonna put your knees down right where they are. If you're doing push-ups from your toes, you're just bending your elbows and lowering your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. If you're unable to get your chest all the way down to the ground, that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion. Remember not to compensate by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. Don't compensate by lowering your forehead down to the mat. And to finish, we're just going to hold our plank pose. So your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Your head is in line with your spine. Don't allow your head to drop. Remember, you do not need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. It's like you're standing with your back up against the wall and just gently pressing the back of your head into the wall. Shoulders are away from the ears. So if you find that as you fatigue, you're kind of sinking into your shoulders like this, remember, spread out all 10 fingers, press the ground away from you, push yourself up as high as you can in that plank so that your shoulders are away from your ears, and make sure your back is flat. Don't allow your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat. Tighten up those abs. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high, and that's it. That is our 5 minutes. We did it.
Nicely done. That was a really tough 5 minutes. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. This is our final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. So let's just do a quick little cool down together. Just move around while you're allowing your heart rate to come down a little bit, and while you allow your breathing to normalize. You can kind of pace back and forth, shake out the legs, shift your weight from side to side. Just keep moving and keep focusing on your breath. So if you're shallow breathing, up here, really visualize throughout this entire cool down, visualize allowing your diaphragm to really drop and allowing your entire rib cage to open so that you make space for more air. Think about breathing all the way down to your belly button and filling up your entire belly and your back with air. So then instead of up here, you think of breathing down and around here, breathing down to your belly button, and then releasing that air with control, okay? So really mindful breathing, and see if you can keep moving. So just keep pacing or shaking out the legs, or you can do what I do. I usually just kind of shift my weight from foot to foot. So while you're doing those two things, let's just do a quick shoulder stretch, just bringing one arm across the body and using the other arm to pull it in tight towards your chest. Make sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed. And make sure your shoulder is completely relaxed. If your shoulder's all tense and hunched up here by your ear, you're not going to be able to stretch it effectively. Make sure you're continuing to focus on your breathing. Shake out the arms. Let's get the other shoulder. So bringing the opposite arm across your body, using the other arm to pull it in tight towards your chest. Your straight arm is relaxed. Your shoulder's relaxed. Feel that stretch in your shoulder. As you pace or shake out the legs, shift your weight from foot to foot, keep moving and keep focusing on slowing down your breathing. Shake out the arms. We'll do a quick tricep stretch, so bending one elbow. Place your hand on your elbow and just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that this free hand is completely relaxed. The fingers should be pointing straight down at the ground. So what you're trying to avoid is having this free hand hanging out up here somewhere by your shoulder. Fingers pointing straight down at the ground. Gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Feel that nice stretch in your tricep. Let's go ahead and get the triceps on the other side. So bending the opposite elbow, place your hand on top of your elbow and just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Your free hand is completely relaxed. Fingers are pointing straight down at the ground. Mindful with that breathing, feeling that diaphragm drop down, making space for as much air as possible. Breathing all the way down into your belly button. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. We're going to finish with a quick quad stretch. So if you struggle with balance, you can hold onto the wall or a chair for support. You're just going to bend one knee, bring the foot behind you, reach back with both hands. Grab a hold of the top of your foot and press your heel into your booty cheek. Really press your heel into your booty cheek. And as you're doing that, make sure that you are tilting your pelvis forward, like we did for our cow pose. So kind of tucking your booty underneath you. Think about trying to touch your spine with your belly button. As soon as you combine both of those two elements, tilting your pelvis forward and really pressing your heel into your booty cheek, you're instantly going to feel that stretch intensify as you isolate your quad muscles more effectively, but you're also going to feel that stretch continue up through your hip flexor. So let's get the other leg, bending the opposite leg, bringing the foot behind you. Reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands and press, press, press your heel into your booty cheek. Now tilt your pelvis forward, tucking your booty underneath you, sucking that belly button back towards your spine. Make sure you're continuing as you do that to press your heel into your booty cheek. Really feel that stretch in your quad and feel it extend all the way up through your hip flexor. Make sure you're continuing to focus on your breath. Long, slow, deep, controlled, mindful breathing. Let's come out of it, and one more time. Shake out the legs, shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, swing the arms a little bit, and that's it. That's our little cool down. If you feel like you're still breathing heavily, or if your heart rate is still elevated, take a couple more minutes and just continue to pace around. You can do a little more light stretching. That's a great idea. Just remember that this little bit of light stretching that we do for the cool down does not take the place of a proper stretching routine. It's still really important to make sure that you're taking at least a good 15 or 20 minutes to stretch every day. If you have time to do it right now, this is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done, because your muscles are already nice and warm from the workout. But if you don't have time to stretch right now, that's fine. You can put off your stretching until later on in the day. Just remember that your muscles will have gotten cold again, so you're going to need to take a couple of minutes to warm them back up. The same way we take 5 minutes to warm up before jumping into the workout. You also want to make sure you're taking time to warm up your muscles before you begin your stretching routine, because warm muscles are going to be more pliable, so you're going to lessen the likelihood that you will overstretch or strain something or pull a muscle. So it doesn't matter what you do for your stretching routine, and it doesn't matter when you get it done, just as long as you are stretching every day. Taking the time to stretch every day is going to help alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing after the workouts. It's also going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and it's going to improve your flexibility. So just make sure you're taking the time to stretch every day and make sure that you are doing so safely. But that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this little 5-minute workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Let me know if this is all you did today. If so, that's great. It's always better to do something than nothing. So if you really only have 5 minutes and this is what you did today, that thrills me. But also, please remember that these little 5-minute workouts are great for days when you have absolutely no time to squeeze in a longer workout, but they can also make a great warm-up for a longer, more intense workout or for a cardio session. So maybe if you're planning a long bike ride or a run or a hike today, you could do this first as kind of a warm-up, or even just a jump rope session. I frequently will tack on about 20 or 30 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope after these 5-minute workouts. So if this is all you're doing today, that's great, but just remember that there are a lot of ways to incorporate these little 5-minute workouts into your routine. So just let me know how you did with this. Let me know what you thought of it, and let me know if this is all you did today or if it was a warm-up for something else. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately, and even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything was unclear with the format of today's workout, if you have questions about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need help with beginner modifications, I'm always here to help, so please just ask. If you enjoy these little 5-minute workouts and you would like to see more of them, please remember that I have an entire playlist of 5-minute workouts on my channel. I will link it right there, and we will be continuing to do these 5-minute Fridays every week for the foreseeable future. So that means that I will be continuing to bring you at least one new 5-minute workout a week, every week for the foreseeable future. That is going to do it for today. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I will see you all right back here on Monday. Bye.